You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are The Breakfast Club. We got some special guests in the building.
Yes, sir.
Dru Hill.
Yo.
What's up?
What's up, my brothers?
What's going on, man?
Now, I know Cisco's been here. I feel like y'all been here, but y'all been here before.
Nah, just
Never.
Cisco.
So just Cisco.
Right.
Wow. All right. Okay.
First time to Breakfast Club.
How y'all brothers doing this morning, man?
How you doing, man?
I'm blessed.
Yes, sir.
Now, y'all got a Christmas album out.
Yes, sir.
Let's start there.
Yeah. Christmas in Baltimore.
Okay.
It's first Christmas album ever after 20 years, and the fans kept asking us for music, and we couldn't let it go another year, so we wanted to make sure we gave them something special this year.
Is there money in these Christmas albums?
That's a good question.
Used to
I
be.
guess we'll see. Look, I guess we'll see.
When you do these Christmas songs over, do you have to because is that just out there for anybody to be able to use, like public, or do you have to get things cleared?
There are some public domain songs, but we only did one remake, and that was Silent Night from the Temptations. Because for me, like, it's not Christmas unless I hear All I Want for Christmas from Mariah Carey and Silent Night from the Temptations, and we wasn't going to sing Mariah's song, so we went for that.
The craziest part is my shout to Thea. She was like, Envy, you don't have any Christmas songs? I was like, all I have is the Temptations, Christmas in Hollis, Run DMC,
Right.
and Mariah Carey. I was like, there's no more Christmas songs.
No Boys the Men?
What Boys the Men?
They had a Christmas album, didn't they?
Oh, you talking about Let It Snow?
Yeah.
You got Dipset in Harlem. You got Christmas in Harlem.
I got Dipset in Harlem. Yeah, I do. But there was nobody makes Christmas songs or Christmas albums anymore.
Right.
So why did y'all guys decide to do it?
Just for that reason right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Add
to the roster.
Yeah, we made, all the other albums that, we did. So, before we got into the proper Dru Hill albums, let's not let another year go past and have people asking us, well, when we going to hear y'all sing? So,
and after this, you guys have another album coming out, right?
Exactly.
So this is kind of the setup for that.
Yes.
First of all, I want to salute to y'all for creating one of the greatest moments in radio history. When I was a young radio lad, I watched y'all on WERQ in Baltimore, and you guys reunited.
Oh,
And then in the moment, God told Woody, nope, this is what I don't want you to do. Cisco slammed his headphones down and said, you could have told us this yesterday. And then the video cuts with Nokia swinging at Woody. I was like, this is amazing. Amazing radio, way before the internet was really a thing.
Well, me and Noke already fought right before this album started, so we got
you got out your sister.
Did y'all really fight?
You don't remember that?
No. He talking about like in the process of recording the Christmas album.
Recently.
Like the first day, we got our new venture with Dru Hill Entertainment and Empire. So we sitting with the people from Empire and they playing records. And, it was just a moment where it was like, look, man, we're not doing nothing we ever did before. And, we got into it in front of it was I went and sat outside, everybody calmed down, we talked about it. But that's just the passion, man. It's like,
who won?
I mean, it wasn't really like a.
It wasn't.
It wasn't like that.
It wasn't physical, or it was a little bit physical.
Just a little.
It's just
Him and I used to fight every day at rehearsal, and then one day
used to get on my nerves.
One day, Jazz was like, "If y'all keep this up, I'm gonna whoop both y'all." So, yeah.
So, I mean,
kept going though, and
well, see, y'all older now, so y'all swing a punch. You like, man, I'm tired, man. Let's go get something. We all grown. Now, time to be fighting.
I mean, you make the
come from a
point.
generation where you fight with your friends, the next day y'all dabbing each
Like
other
you make the
up,
point, and then it's over with. It's
Yeah.
not nothing that's interfering with the music or nothing like that.
That moment in Baltimore, though, how did y'all get to the point of reconciliation? Let's bring the group back, and then Woody, in that moment, you was like, I don't want to be here.
Well, Note was drinking.
Lord have mercy.
That was a dry snitch, my bad.
Right.
I mean,
the night before.
Right.
But no, I mean, for real, you never know where people are in life. And we came back, after taking a lot of time and, figuring what we really wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And so it was just, for it to happen so fast with like no real discussion after you know, it was a commitment made. It was things that, you know, people were doing to move around and, you know, be able to actually make it happen. And then all of a sudden, you're like, oh, man, I don't want to do it again. So, you know, that one.
But he said God, though. No, you had to swing at him because the man wanted.
He said God the first time too. I'm just saying. I mean, like it's Woody is our brother like everybody else, and you know, it was a moment in time. It didn't go past that. It wasn't like, man, if I see you in the street, you know, whatever. It wasn't nothing like that. It was just what it was. It was the expression of, you know, what happens when things like that happen sometimes.
I'm sure you guys have a lot of behind-the-scenes stories, like before you're about to perform and something crazy happens.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's about, you're about to hit the
flip the
stage.
tables over, all that stuff.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Nope was notorious to never dry snitch for like just wrecking the rooms.
The Nope
like,
story.
Like
Yeah.
y'all
No guilty.
on our video, on our video, I Love You, where you like see him like trash.
Oh man, yeah.
Actually do that.
That was real footage.
I don't know what that real note.
Never from another time. I don't know, man.
Do y'all ever get tired of each other? Like even now?
I mean, yeah, it's like you don't always. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, the thing about it is
Get
like
tired of fans.
you don't always like each other, but we love each other, and we've been through too much to let little stuff. It's like I said, it's an expression in the moment. I'm going to let you understand where I am, and then after that, that's it. We're going to go jump on stage, and we're going to make this music.
Cisco, you saw that imposter running around pretending to be you for Fashion Week?
Yep. And ironically, and now I'm growing a beard, and he was like Bizarro Cisco, right? And now I'm like, you know, trying to grow this beard, and they really gonna think he me now. But we found out who the kid was. Apparently, it was some kid from Baltimore, who just.
Did he say it was Cisco? Does people just assume?
Nah, he went all the way to the point where he had gotten invited to some lavish party in the Hamptons, and
Oh, he was going hard.
Wow.
right before
It was popping out there in the Hamptons.
right before he was about to get on the plane, they realized that his passport didn't match up.
Oh, he used your name for real, for real.
He got all the way to the airport, all the way to the private jet. He's about to sing for about mitzvah for like $100 grand or something. It was, and they.
Holy ish, that's some good stuff.
Well, did you fire your booking agents? Because how you missed that booking?
Hey man, I got so many sons out here. Everybody hair blonde now. You never know who's me.
Jeez.
Now, Ludacris didn't call you for the Thong Song remake either, Cisco.
Nah, he.
I was upset about that when he.
Oh, you mean to do the remix?
Yeah.
We had one too. It was ill. We had one, but I did a like a EDM mix with these producers, Juicy. And that's been getting like, you know, some EDM love. I actually sang the whole song over for that to make a new master. A lot of people didn't know that, so that was.
Do y'all have to make new music, or y'all can just tore off your old shit?
I mean, the reality is making new music helps with, you know, being on the road and being visible, but at the same time, we were like one of the last groups of artists that really had artist development, and that, you know, the purpose was to teach you to be in the industry as long as you wanted to be in it. So, I mean, we on the road every week. We all over the world. And, you know, even before, you know, having this situation with Empire, we just been on the road doing what we do, you know. I mean, that's really where it started with, especially with us with radio. It was like people heard the record, but it wasn't until they started to perform. And it was like, oh, okay, like they do this for real. So we try to stay there first, because that's what, you know, grabs the people before anything else.
Yep, they realized we wasn't a fake Jodeci. We were Dru Hill, damn it.
But you guys were so inspired by Jodeci.
Oh man, all day long.
I was doing my best to sound like KC.
Look, you can't understand you know, being friends with them and, you know, being mentors and everything. But when the day came that they finally like asked us to come out on stage and like do the Jodeci set with them, and we got to sing all the songs that we were singing in high school, like that was like, all right, cool. Like,
Wasn't y'all original group name inspired by Jodeci?
Yeah, it was Legacy. That's
we had a legacy.
Close.
Yeah, it had an eye at the end. You know, we was trying, you know, we wore the boots and Carhartt
Together
jackets.
Brothers.
That was the label.
Together Brothers.
Yeah, no, I mean, like,
That's not a great name.
somebody at the label was like, we was doing Tell Me, and like somebody really was, like, we were trying to figure out the name, and they were like, what about the Together Brothers? It was like,
What?
no.
But isn't Dru Hill like the name of y'all a street or something?
Yeah, it's like it's Druid Hill Park, and it's you know, it's a street also, but nobody says Druid Hill like I'm going to Druid Hill. It's like going up Dru Hill Park. So, you know, we wanted to just let people know, especially being from Baltimore, you know, that no matter where we go in the world, we always love where we come from. We'll never forget about that.
So y'all was searching for all these names, and the name was right there under y'all nose.
I mean, that's kind of like how it happened. Like, I was on the phone with somebody from the record company, and they was like, man, what's the name of that park? And I'm like, Dru Hill. Was like, that's it. And that was...
It's a Dru Hill in a couple cities, too. I know it's one in Atlanta.
But they did Druid.
Druid, good old Druid.
Now, Jazz, where were you when Cisco and Kyle was fighting?
Hey,
you like the bouncer of the group a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Where was you when?
Hey, man. First of all, I think we were in another room just chilling.
Yeah, ain't nobody know
where he was at. We ain't even know. You know, Cisco
Me and
dipped
Kyle was
off
walking around getting drunk. And,
See?
Oh, you was by yourself? So none of you
no,
people?
it was just me and him together. Teo came and broke it up.
Got you. So hold on, you and Kyle was already together hanging out?
Yeah, we was rolling. We was rolling around getting
y'all
drunk.
was
I went
real
to go
drunk.
I went to go use the bathroom.
It sounds like a mess.
Yeah, it seems like a mess.
I went to go use the bathroom in our room, and our room was locked. So he was like, "Come on, and you could use the bathroom in our room." And you know, we was. You know, tell a couple lies Friday.
That don't even sound right. It sounds like some holes in that story.
Everybody got their own dressing room when you do a show at a certain caliber. And our dressing room was locked. The Dru Hill dressing room was locked, and theirs was not. Theirs was like right next to the stairs. So that's how.
But how'd you end up fighting though?
Look, I don't know. Like, what scene happened, they was in the room, and there was some talking. It was somebody else in the room, and it kind of like, you know, I guess it pulled into a conversation that it didn't need to be when two people were drunk.
Yeah, this is pretty
You know,
much
it was
somebody
like two
in there
people was drunk.
instigating.
You know what I'm saying? Like, two people was drunk, and it's like, hey, you know.
What you say about my mama?
Right, you know what I'm saying? Like, something like that. So, you know. And that was, I mean, it was all kind of like weird from the beginning because it was like, you got too good an angle like recording that. Like somebody wanted that to happen or something. It was just weird, you know, so, you know.
Do you remember what the conversation was that led to the fight?
Nope.
That's crazy because you never would think R&B groups was fighting back then. But
Man,
you hear
but
about
we was
Jagged
like,
Edge.
man, you're
Like,
right
these
after
R&B
it.
groups, like bad R&B groups, like these ain't your, like you talking
Man,
about Dru Hill
R&B is like,
and Jagged Edge.
look, I mean, a lot of times, the R&B
They got Jagged
might
in
be,
their
you know,
name,
more real than rapper for real. Just, you know what I mean? Like, you always dealing with emotions and, you know, so it's like, I mean, we try not to, you know, we don't feel like getting in trouble and like doing. That's not like what we seek out to do, especially when you're trying to sing a song to a girl about being in love. But I mean, sometimes that's just what happened.
How many physical altercations have y'all had?
Man, who knows?
What each
What
other?
you
Just
mean?
in general.
What's going on?
None.
No, we ain't had no with each other.
Going
No,
on for real. Yeah.
It wasn't even really a fight. It was like
wasn't
wrestling.
not a fight.
Like it
Nobody
wasn't even a
threw no
fight.
hands.
It was
just
like, hey man,
drunk
what you
wrestling.
mean? What you say to me?
Yeah.
By the time I got there, it was just, you know, tussling around. You know what I mean?
Was it hard to break up?
Nah, two wine. I mean, not winos, but two people drunk. I didn't mean that. Two people drunk in there, and you know what I'm saying, just in there wilding out.
This visual is
Hey
not
man,
good.
look, that's my man, Kyle and Cisco. That's my man. I walked in there. It wasn't even like a real fight. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. You know what I mean?
Did you have a drinking problem back then, Cisco?
I don't have a drinking
No.
problem at all.
Or back then?
No, period.
Never.
Okay.
That just slipped out. I didn't mean that. I
I
didn't mean that.
was, we were off work. I was having.
You were celebrating.
Yeah, just having.
That's it.
having a drink.
We all get a
was
drink every
cool,
now and
like,
again.
Literally, like right after it. We still straight to death.
Now we hear all these horror stories about.
Jazz like, nigga, please. You was drunk.
This is a funny moment right now. Shit.
We just, you know, what happened?
Right. Oh, two drunk people was fighting.
Now we hear all these stories about bad deals that artists had early on in their career, but you guys did have some guidance and people that were helping you out. So what was that like for y'all starting out, getting your first deal?
We had bad deals too, for real. I mean, we put it like this: you learn something that's called industry standard, which means like we're not going to take everything from you, but we're going to take a lot. But in return, we're going to risk our billions of dollars to put you out there and, you know, do everything else. So, you know, starting out, you know, you just like, I want to be in it. And then, you know, luckily after that, that's when people started coming and saying, hey, look, you guys ain't really got to do this. You guys don't really have to do that, you know. And we just always stood for, you know, what we knew and what we believed. And we went in the studio with Babyface the first time we recorded with him. And he said, man, all you got to do is outlive all the bad deals. And then you could do everything that you want to do. And I mean, like, for real, we've been through everything that you could go through in this business. And we were kids, like, you know, like kids, like none of this facial hair, like nothing. Is like just coming in here fresh out of Baltimore and just wanted to make it.
Was drawn on.
You know, like we wanted, like, I mean, like for real, like we were the kids that were really like happy to be here. We shook everybody's hand and it's like, hey, you know, like Dru Hill, they don't drink, they don't do anything, you know. But, you know, after a while, people, you know, just try to take advantage of you. And, you know, you just got to let them know, like, man, we here to stay, so we're going to figure it out. And
bad deals are like a rite of passage.
Yeah, I mean, like because it was like 5 years or so.
I didn't know you could split a penny until I first.
It was 5. It was like 5 years. You know, before we had our first deal that we were together. So we were going back and forth to the Apollo. We were going to meet Jimmy Iovine in, you know, California, and people setting up meetings. Like, we did the whole thing. Like, people knew who we were. We just didn't have that opportunity. And we actually got the opportunity on the last day that we were going to be together. Like, the production company here called and said, look, take this meeting in New York. If it don't work out, I'll let y'all out your contract, because our mothers weren't trying to hear us singing, not making no money. And, you know, we came up here, they told us, look, they played us Tell Me. They said, if you sing back the hook to us in 15 minutes, you have a song out in 30 days. They left out, they came back, we sang the song, we was down the Hit Factory that ain't there no more in the big room. As soon as we finished singing it, they opened up that door and they put us in the studio. We had a song out 30 days later, no paperwork, it was a handshake. Look, I give y'all this song.
Who did that deal?
Hiram Hicks.
So Hiram got all the money.
No, I mean, Hiram ain't get all the money. No, I mean, look, we ain't going to get into all of that, how that went down. I'm just saying that, like, we learned a great lesson early on. Like, we got the guidance, we got people that gave us opportunities, we got to produce on our first album, you know, all that stuff. But at the same time, we got to see the bad side of it. And because of that, we always stayed insulated, because we ain't come from nobody's team. We don't get invited to none of the reunions, you know, when no record companies get together, because we weren't a part of that. We were just some kids from Baltimore that knew we could sing and knew we could be better than anybody that was out there, and we just spent the last 20 years proving that to people.
Well, when did y'all start making money?
I mean, honestly, probably like 2 years later. Like 2 years later after we first started. It's like, you know, you start out, first you make, like, see, we started making money in high school, so, like, we would, like, you know, be able to go shopping at the school, and everybody like, ooh, you know, whatever else. You know what I'm saying? Like, you do all that, and then
with the Jesus piece, but it was thin. Like,
you know, then
Still had it.
And then, you know, they gave us, you know, like we had, you know, a deal where we made money for records that we did for the album. So, you know, we slowly but surely, you know, then you get the show money, the beginning of it, whatever. But it wasn't until like that, right after that second album hit, and we were like all over the world. Like, you know, we like in London, y'all got to come back, do a show in New York tonight. Then we're going to go to Africa and, you know, whatever else. And y'all going to sit with Mandela. And then it was like, holy man, like, you know, you just walking around with, like, you, like, when you're young, so it's like, you get the money they give you at the show, and you just like, all right, whatever. Then you got the money that go to your accountant and, you know, whatever else. So, you know, you just, like, you have fun. But, you know, like I said, I was always like, all right, cool, we're going to figure out this business thing, you know, no matter how long it takes. And everybody just found a way to make us just insulated where, you know, we could kind of just do it all ourselves and, you know, figure it out and not be, like, hurt for real.
Now, Cisco, with you, you know, when you first came out, everybody, they thought you were gay because of your hair color and you did, but now it's normal. This is what everybody does now.
But they think all those rappers gay too.
Wait.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
They're not the only ones with blonde hair. Everybody
got blonde hair right now.
Yeah.
Everybody blondes their hair.
Football players, boxers.
So what do you think about that now? Now that you see it, now it's cool.
You're ahead of your time.
Hey, I mean, we hear that all the time. That we were like, you know, ahead of our time.
Oh man.
You know, even with the, you know, couture stuff. I mean,
what is couture?
The
couture stuff.
Oh, couture.
Oh.
Yeah, like
wearing expensive clothes, Charlamagne.
Yeah, the Versace I Don't Care line from Tell Me, like that
Got you.
weird.
I just thought that was Biggie.
On. I didn't. I mean, I started wearing Coogee because of Biggie.
Got you.
That's why in the Incomplete video I had on the whole Coogee thing. But we didn't really get a chance to like really have much say so in what we wore until I guess like the In My Bed video. That's when we started dressing ourselves.
What you mean? The label wanted you in certain stuff?
Oh no! Oh yeah, no. It was like, look, you're going to take
not my idea.
You're going to the photo shoot, and here's who bought the clothes, and this is the person that's going to take the pictures, and the makeup lady.
That would be a robot.
No, but shade to put on you, so we all look like vampires. You know what I'm saying? But it's like I said, it's like, like we knew enough to say, okay, cool, we just going to do the stuff that we got to do and just take the little moments where we can implement, what we want to do until, like, eventually it just came down to, like, with the albums, with the record companies, like, y'all get 3 records, we doing it by ourselves. We're going to go over here, we're going to get the people to do whatever, and, because it wasn't nothing you could do. Like, it's like, we're going to do it anyway, so that's all work together.
They didn't want my hair blonde either. They told me to go back to my natural hair color, which is, like, black, and right before we shot the video for Tell Me, I went in the bathroom, dyed my hair back. They was like, you gonna ruin your career, and I was like, at that point I had seen more than we had ever seen, so I was like,
whatever happens.
But and that's why if you look at our first album, you'll see that I got a hat on the front cover and in the inside sleeve, because they wasn't really for the whole hair thing, and then when it actually started to work, they was, typical record label stuff. Right. We knew it was gonna work.
Wasn't it silver at one point too, though?
Yeah, platinum. I prefer platinum since all those platinum
it's
albums.
It's like branding yourself.
No, you did production too, right?
Yeah, a lot.
You produced the joint with DMX.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
did Cisco come with that hook? Or?
Nah, it was nah. I mean, actually, I was in the studio with X. I had the beat, and I was in the studio with X, and he started humming, and I was like, here we go. So I started calling Kevin Lyles and everybody. I'm like, yo, I got him in the studio. He's like, don't let him leave. He was like, man, I'm going to come back tomorrow. I was like, all right, cool. Man, they were on me all day long. You ain't going to do the record. I'm like, man, he going to do it. That's my man. He came back the next day, knocked the record out, and, then Cisco came in and, brought all the harmonies and, the rest of the structure to it. And, I remember the day that I was in Baltimore at the arena, and they were doing the Rough Riders show, and like Swiss, everybody was there, and they brought me backstage. I went out on stage with Eve to do the song I did with her, and then they were like, yo, no, you got the next song on DMX. I was like, holy. So, that was, I mean, I did the Noise joint,
Which one?
The, y'all don't want to,
Yes, I do remember that.
So, I mean, like I got, and I spent, about 8 years doing A&R between Atlantic and Def Jam, so, I mean, I love it, man. I'm in it.
Those were hardcore hip hop records, though. That's what always surprised me about it. Like,
but that's what people wouldn't know is like I listen to more. If you walk past my room, I listen to somebody cutting up something. It sounds like something going down. That's my core. Like I just happen to figure out that singing was an easier way to do all of the other stuff that I wanted to do. But like if you want to catch what I'm listening to, or the new artist that it's mostly hip hop artist.
Well, how did DMX become your guy like that?
Because, well, I mean, like, I knew, like, the Rough Rider dudes from being in Baltimore, like, even before the music stuff, just, seeing them around and everything. So it was funny, like, when we first saw Link Back, I was like, yo, no, I used to work at Downtown Locker Room in Baltimore. And they was like, yo, this dude used to work at Downtown Locker Room. So from there, just, it was like a friendship thing, So when the record opportunity came around, like I said, it was just, I happened to catch him in the studio. I was already in there, so.
Why didn't more rappers gravitate towards your sound?
Because I stopped producing. And I went to do A&R. It was like, see, everything with me is almost like, all right, cool, I got to try that, let me do something else. So I would, like, producing, I've never done a beat tape. Like, I've never sat down in the office and, like, it was like you come to the studio, you do the record, or we ain't going to do no record. And once I did those records, then I got my feel of that, and it was like, all right, cool, now I got some hip-hop stuff, too, so people would know, I'm just not an R&B person. I wanted to be an A&R, and I went to Leor. And he was like, Nokio, what can I give you? And I said, look, man, I just want to be an A&R. And he looked at me, what do you mean? That's all you want? I would have given you that. But I was like, man, all I want to do is office. I want to be in the system. I want to be in the internet and the intranet. I want a key card. I want to do and learn everything y'all do. And I spent years doing that. So I bring it back.
Do you regret that decision?
No.
What artist did you sign when you were there?
No, I ain't signed no artist. Like, well, I had Third Story. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, just listen to what I'm saying. Lord, you go into the purpose of it wasn't to right then be the person that goes in and I'm going like sign everybody and I want to be this person and just pick up the phone and call whoever. I really wanted to learn it. Like I went to work every day. I had my newspaper, I had my backpack, my Starbucks. I'm sitting in marketing meetings. I'm sitting in this meeting, that meeting. I'm sitting in the offices talking to assistants, learning how, like I really wanted to know the business because a lot of times as artists, we just in here, we got somebody that's leading us around and you don't understand the inner workings of this stuff. So when you hear them say something to you and all this time you thought it was something good, and then I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, that means you great drop me. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's just, it kind of, I don't regret it. I feel like I learned something that it changed me creatively because when you're inside the record company, everything is numbers. So it's like, how do you really go to somebody creative and say, hey, I need you to make me a record that's 100 million audience? What's that feeling? For for real, like what is that feeling instead of like make me a great record? So when it turned into that, it was like, man, look, I'm going home because like y'all ain't going to destroy me and have me, somewhere crazy, feeling like, I can't be creative.
Right.
Now, Cisco,
he also used to go. He also used to go to school with his books in a briefcase.
Oh yeah, I used to wear a suit and briefcase and tell everybody I wanted to be a businessman and producer. I was like 12, like 13 years old.
They didn't bully him for that?
Nah, because we had that's a story for another day.
Another story.
Yeah.
Now, when it came to Cisco wanting to go solo,
I did not want to go solo.
So the label pushed that? Or?
No, they didn't want it either. Nobody really wanted it. I always wanted to be the best Jodeci that we could be, or Jodeci / Boys II Men. I mean, if you kind of merge Boys II Men and Jodeci, I feel like you kind of get, like, that's kind of what Dru Hill is. We got like a little bit of that rough sound, but then we still could sing songs that Jodeci would never sing, but Boys II Men maybe could sing and vice versa. So that was
That's
all.
What he tells y'all. He tells y'all he never wanted to go.
Nah, I mean, look, I'm gonna let him tell his. I'm gonna let him tell his story, and then I'll culminate it into what made it make sense.
I never wanted to be solo. If I had opportunities to be a solo artist before we even decided we wanted to be a group.
So how did it happen then?
It was Nook has his version of
Let's
it.
Hear yours.
Y'all not
first,
gonna
Cisco.
fight in here, right?
No,
It'd be good to
No, look. The reality of it is this: like, if you take out all the emotion in it, we're done the Wild Wild West, and
Terrible
it was
record,
like
In hindsight, they probably sold a lot, but
still
Jesus
got
Christ.
that platinum plaque.
you know what I'm saying?
Matter.
So it's like we did the record, highly visible. We had the MTV Movie Awards, and I mean, like, it was like already, like an air going around. So MTV went to Cisco during the awards, and he came to me. He was like, "Look, man, MTV just said they want to give me a show, and I don't know what it's going to be about. They don't even know the name of it." And in that moment, it's kind of like you could be a hater and say, "No, man, we got to do the group because the group," or you could be like, "But man, up to this point, I done produced all the records that we did internally, and I can do this, or I can do that." So, we took this stance of, okay, well, this is going to be a time where everybody gets a chance to go out and figure out what they want to do and learn something else and explore some other stuff, because it's not like they just left us out there. Like,
Right.
we all had deals. We all had production deals and label deals and artist deals and, everything else, and we had the system to do whatever we wanted to do. So, like I said, you could be like, oh man, whatever. It's like I produced a record on his first album. We went and, did the song thong, video, and I'm up there, with the girls just doing what I usually do. It was just like it was a time when we were just getting, like, the label stuff was going on with Island and Def Jam and everybody like moving around. And Def Jam, had done the Rush Hour record with us. So they were already acclimated with us, but they never got to do an album. So it was like right at the time for us to do an album with them, and then all of a sudden Woody leaves. So they give us all this stuff, and we can't deliver what they paid for real. So it was just like, well, what do you do? So then the opportunity comes, and it's like, okay, this is something that's still keeping everybody's attention.
Right.
While I'm in the building, producing and, learning this, and Jazz is bringing people in or whatever. So it's like, people always like to try to look at it like, oh man, well, Cisco went solo and y'all was just like home, doing whatever. But, it was really just like, all right, cool. This is a time where so let's say you do got a bad attitude about it. It's like, well, this is the time where I show that I could do something too. And that's really what it comes down to.
And be
you know,
supportive of each
you
other.
know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that's just what it is. Or you could be a guy online all day long or wherever else talking about, oh man, and he destroyed my life, and you know.
Well, first of all, Woody quit the group in the middle of the Wild Wild West video shoot.
God told him to get away from this record.
I don't
No,
know.
I'm gonna tell you what. No,
If you look at the video, you see 4 of us in the beginning,
And
and only 3 of
No.
us at the end. And you have to understand that, man. I known Woody since elementary school. So
Woody wanted to quit after the video, and Cisco said, if you're gonna leave, you got to leave now.
God
That's
damn.
after Woody came in the trailer and played us a whole song and sang, and it was a lot, man. And then we had to go like right and do a video with MTV, so they sitting there like, where the other guy at? And it's like,
right, dude. That's why if you look at the video, man, like we got our hats pulled all the way down. It was rough.
it was crazy.
Why did he want to leave in that moment?
I mean,
Dude,
like,
I don't know, man. We had
you know what we
opening
had
for us, and
you know what we
over in
had an
Europe,
incident
and 90
that
Degrees
happened.
opening for us.
aside from
top.
aside from Woody just came from a straight gospel background. Like his mother and them did like the church conventions where, you know, you out there with 100 choirs and everything. And we had an incident where that was the first time that I knew that it was real. Like, this dude is ready to go. And we were overseas doing the show, and we got like in a fight. And the guys that were in the fight were with the people who were doing security. One of the guys running the security booth locked the gate and get the gun out and start shooting at our van. So they shoot the back window out. The merch lady we had with us go open up the gate. We got out of there. Dude come to the hotel. He chasing our band around the lobby of the hotel with the gun. Security dudes hitting dudes in the face with walkie-talkies and all this stuff. And it was like right, and they was like, everybody go to that room, and we let you know. And it was like right in that moment, like that next day, it was like, oh nah.
Yeah,
I
they
ain't
put
coming
that
in for
gun
all
to
that.
the window. You heard?
Where was
Kevin
y'all
was
at?
there.
We was in Paris.
We was in Paris. They put the
Niggas
gun
in
to the
Paris.
window. Like, you heard the gun go dink right to the window. He pulled the trick. Like, it was like in slow motion. I could hear it go.
Yeah, it was
Blam,
crazy.
the window explodes.
Well, first of all, what happened for y'all to get into this kind of
All
altercation?
right, so here go the funny part. That part ain't funny. So here go the funny
Wait,
part.
That was funny about that.
Point
Yeah,
blank
yeah,
window. That point blank bullet. This window blew out. The window on that side blew out. We never
Dude,
found the bullet, and nobody.
The reason
nobody
why
got
it all
hit.
started was because a dude wanted a picture for his girlfriend.
With the group? And
Y'all
y'all
said
told him no.
No,
Was it?
no,
See?
it wasn't like that. No.
Said
What
no,
happened was
said no.
everybody had like their families and like girlfriends there and fiance, whatever was going on at the time. So our boy was like, look, give him a minute. They just came off stage. They changing, so like 5 minutes go past. He's like, man, I need this picture, man. Like, cool. So then 10 minutes go past. He's like, man, give me the month. And this dude was like one of them dudes that like he ain't gonna think about nothing. He like already just ready to go off. Next thing you know, Kevin fighting. Next thing you know, they like get up out of here. They
He
try
had
and make
been
a hole for us to
drinking, too.
get out.
He was the wino.
Look, me and Kevin. Look, me
I
and
didn't
Jazz
mean
trying
that for the record.
me and Jazz trying to bust out the room to go fight. They won't let us. Our security guard Rich, hitting dudes with our other security guard. It was crazy.
Ready to
Like,
kill me over a picture?
Dang, that's
but I'm gonna
crazy,
tell
yo.
you, like, Paris was the first place that a black person called me a nigga, and I was like, wow.
A black person called you a nigga.
But said it in a way that it sounded like it was.
With the ER.
That was during
But
that
then we had
moment,
to
or-
get
Yeah,
the,
it was during that time.
and then we had to get the American embassy.
Yeah, then after that, boy, we had G.I. Joe with us.
Oh,
It was
man,
like,
that-
dudes like
that was
7
an experience
feet.
right
Them
there,
dudes had
son.
bulletproof leather coats,
Came out of
baseball
everywhere.
hats.
The shortest dude was 6'5". Like,
Damn.
those guys was like 7 feet tall. They had on like
Flanking the
all black.
bus, like we couldn't
Yeah,
do
the
nothing.
guns.
Like dudes outside
America
the room
came
all day
through
long.
on that one.
America came
Response
through.
time,
America.
response time was in
Yeah.
seconds, son.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like, boom. You like, yo, I ain't never seen nothing like that in my life.
So long
So we
story
could
short.
just get them to love us like that over here, like they love us over there.
You don't want
Yeah.
that.
Not without the
Colin
bullet, though.
Kaepernick.
I ain't never got shot at in Baltimore either. As hood as Baltimore
What?
was. Oh, okay, my bad.
No, I'm just joking.
Oh.
No, that's
So
it.
MTV called you to go solo, basically, is what we're hearing from this story.
Nah, it wasn't really a solo.
They offered him
that
a
was
show.
that was a show.
Right.
What
That
was the show?
wasn't-
I don't remember no Cisco show on MTV.
Cisco Shakedown was what is how TRL got off TV because
I don't remember Cisco
my
Shakedown.
my show was
Come on,
the
man. You
top
don't remember
rated
Cisco
show.
Shakedown with he had the 6-pack girls.
No, let me
I do
Google
remember
it.
now.
right?
Shake down.
I do
It was
remember.
the MTV dance show. You know how they always got the dance format,
Right.
And they instead of Downtown Julie Brown, they fit me in there and they switched the show up, rearranged it a little bit, but the ratings was just killing.
And that's how you see the respect, because at least some people would have not said anything and just did the show and not mentioned it. And then, like, I'm doing the show. But you at least went and said, I got off of the
I
show.
Googled it and it says Cisco Shakedown, an MTV hit. It says Cisco Shakedown, an American bandstand meets dance fever with a lot of flesh and attitude.
Oh, the PR person wrote that one. It was fun though. I mean, we did the whole season in like a couple weeks. I
Man.
was still on tour.
You know what? When it come down to it, man, for all the good, the bad, the stuff or whatever, man, we got to sit in Nelson Mandela's house. And he invited us to the country to perform for him because he wanted to meet the people that had such an influence over his 13 grandchildren that all came and knocked at each one of our doors at 1 o'clock in the morning just so we knew that they loved us. So, I mean, it's like, it's a lot of stuff that, it's a lot of stuff that,
shout out to Speedy, because his nephew, Speedy, actually, my dad went over to South Africa with us, and they let us bury my granddad's ashes in their family sacred burial ground.
Wow.
And man, Michael Jackson flew me out to meet him. I mean, we got
that
was the mic drop moment for me though. I was like, hey man, he was the reason. Once he did the moonwalk, because as a solo artist, we all doing our best Michael Jackson. Right. You know what I mean? So once I did that, that's when I really disappeared.
And everybody just took us under their wing. Like the year that we thought, and everybody kind of thought we was going to win the American Music Awards, Boys to Men won it. And, they got up there and was like, we won an award, but, we really feel like this Dru Hill year. Or, having Jodeci take us under their wing and just, give us stories about stuff that they did that was like, that was wrong, that, it's like, no matter what, whenever they see us, it's like, man, keep your group together. Like, that's the first thing coming out of Casey or JoJo Mop, keep your group together, man, keep your group together.
And y'all still get along today, right? Y'all ain't got
man, we happy to be here. You don't get to be here like this. We still go do shows, and girls are screaming and running up to the stage and falling out and, stuff. So it's like, what do you do?
Still throwing the thongs on the stage.
Was it hard to replace Woody? Was that a difficult transition?
Well, no, because what happened was
that a shot at me, Charlamagne?
No, Woody was there for the. We had a contest in Baltimore, and 40, 50 people came out, and everybody had a chance. And we already knew him, but it was like, look, man, you gotta get up here in front of the people and see what they say. Yep. So he came up and he did his thing, and Woody was actually there judging it with us. So him and Woody, had already connected on it, and everything, was good as far as. His blessings. So, from there, it was really just doing what we always did, just hitting the stage and, refining it, because we like one of them people, it's like you look at the person out the corner of your eye and you know what the next person going to do, and we, keeping it moving. So, we just had to build that in, what it was now. We just...
Yeah, we wanted Teo in the group way earlier because we had known him way early, way back when we had did our third album.
So y'all never wanted Woody?
Nah.
Oh, you were gonna have 5 members.
Woody was right there.
What if Woody tried to come back now and was like, "Listen"?
I done asked Woody to come
back.
Man,
we've been trying.
What's Woody doing now?
Woody doing his own thing. Woody like to be a free man.
Yeah.
We
speak to him every once in a while. We talk.
Let him tell his story. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, he chilling. I hang out with him sometimes. You know what I mean? He's just in his own space. You know.
He still hit the weed.
Woody? Yeah. I ain't never known him to hit the weed. Were you ever hung out with Woody and hit the weed? Oh, okay. Well, I mean, yeah. So I don't know.
Do you still hit the weed?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I can't handle it. I got anxiety bad. I'll just make my anxiety terrible.
Now, second that emotion.
Jazz, do all these stories add up when you hear Nokio and Cisco talk?
Oh yeah, man. Guess what? One of us gonna tell you the story. It's gonna always be the same, regardless.
We appreciate you guys for stopping through.
We appreciate y'all, man.
Thank you for bringing that Christmas album.
Definitely.
Yes, y'all got to check that out.
Beautiful for the holidays.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I mean,
sorry we ain't fight, man. We
Y'all
you
past that.
know what I'm saying? So,
That's why they had to have y'all two in between.
right, you know what I'm saying?
Next time.
You gotta catch us right when we starting something and you get that first spot to get it going.
Get in the next album.
That is never
gonna
going
die.
away.
I'm sorry, yo.
That is soundbite heaven.
Man, shout out to Jagged Edge and shout out to us, man. And we all love each other. And 112. But I mean, I was speaking on, you know. But yeah, man, it's all
Who's the best out of
love.
all three of y'all?
Well, who sold
Who the best out of man? Look,
There we go.
You reignited it. All right, now.
He acting like your production didn't contribute to some of that.
Oh no, we ain't saying that. No, look. This what it come down to. Because we could go through that all day long, and everybody could say what they want to say. And this ain't no shot to nobody. This just how we do. Like we used to battle sing at home. Like you battle rap, you battle sing. It's like it's up to people. Man, we could do everything on stage with the music and the lights and, you know, whatever else. But what it come down to is what happened when the mics ain't working and you guys still keep going. And, you know, I don't really know too many people that can do that for real. Not that they can't perform and they not exciting. Not that they not entertaining. Not that I don't love it. But it's like everybody got their thing. That's why you buy. That's why you buy different music. It's like I go to this person to get this. Go to this person to get that. I go to this. You know, from the beginning, it was like, Michael Jackson, you know, at that point when we first started, it was like he sold 100 million records. Like, ain't nothing that's ever going to sell 100 million records. So it's enough money out here for everybody to do that thing. Just don't be
about half of that.
You know what I'm saying? It's like just don't look at us crazy and don't like we show love everywhere we go.
Right.
So once we don't feel that, then you gonna know we don't feel that because we ain't high-fiving and walking around and yo and whatever. It's like we gonna walk right past you, be in the room, and that's gonna be the beginning and end of it. So we show love to the people who show love to us. If you don't show us no love, then we don't feel no reason to walk around acting like we 14 years old when we worrying about
cause
somebody.
when I lay you down, I can hear your body speak, telling me to kiss you till your knees get weak all night.
I was doing my part.
Y'all niggas sound great.
Thanks, man. Hey, look, but that's the thing, though, man. That's why, like, when people, like, cause people ask us all the time, it's like, so y'all just still sing? What I mean, like, I've been doing this since I was 14 years old.
But you know, some people are gifted and some people aren't. I think that's what people don't
But
realize.
that's why I was saying, like, they taught us. They said, we're going to teach you how to be here forever. And that's what they did. That's why they made us do push-ups and sit-ups while we were singing the songs and running around and wouldn't let us eat and rehearsing for 8 hours because this is what we were supposed to do. So we're just going to keep doing it as long as we got the opportunity.
It's also good to have hits.
Yeah.
There you have
We
it.
have several.
Oh, Lord.
Well, there you have it.
How do y'all keep? My last question: how do y'all keep the Jew? How do y'all keep that out of y'all vocals? When the Baltimore
You can't help it, man.
It's in all the first records. It was like conscious later, mainly for me.
I can't help it, man.
On the first album, it's like a bunch of twos and do's and
dog and mother.
How do you make it sound so when you sing it though? Tease.
It's just like the, it's
Don't
just
do that
like
again. Don't do that again, please.
no, it's just like the, it's just like you know, like the Atlanta Southern draw. Like I can't do it, but it sounds cool. We drop it on the beat, right?
Did they make y'all go to speech therapists and stuff like that to try
Not
it out?
that. Well, they they taught us to like enunciate and then like we had to learn how to sing exactly like each other. You know, stuff like that.
That's it. My goodness.
Like we had to learn to like sound like each other. So when we go in and do the harmonies, you know, it's just like all kinds of stuff.
Can y'all
man.
do one Baltimore harmony? This is what one of those words like D.
Well, it's gonna be one less because I'm from Annapolis, Maryland, so I don't have a do and a two. But
Got you.
Well, there you have it. It's Dru Hill. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.